How do we prepare our kids to be money conscious? That is what we're going to talk about this morning on Ground Zero, Minding Your Money. Stay tuned. How do we prepare our kids to be money conscious? That's what we're going to talk about this morning on Ground Zero, Minding Your Money. I am Nicovana Shannon, founder and CEO of Shannon and Associates, Inc. And we specialize in financial care solutions for individuals when it comes to getting financially healthy. And my co-host, Anissa Wright, is going to let you know what she is doing.
Good morning, wonderful people. Good morning. Good morning. I am your favorite family finance advocate, Anissa Wright, and I help families, of course, get out of debt, build generational wealth. And we are here to talk about how to do just that when it comes to our kids. I mean, they need to know early on how to start thinking about money, what the constructs around money are. And Nicovana, again, as usual, that's a great question. How do we ensure that our kids are money conscious at an early age? When you say money conscious, tell me a little bit more about what you mean.
Yes, well, really just being open to the whole concept of managing money. How early should they be introduced to that? How early should they know where money comes from, how it actually is used in our society? How do we use it as a family? You know, the basic things that could possibly come to the mind of a young child or young adult. So that's kind of what I'm speaking of, you know, just making them aware of how money is used and how it can better your situation or hurt your situation, depending on how you use it.
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, I believe that actually starts when they're able to count. I mean, think about it. You know, in preschool, kindergarten, we're teaching them what, a nickel, a dime, 5 cents, so forth and so on. And those concepts begin to become concrete constructs for our kids at a very early age. And so I think that's a great time to start introducing the concepts of money. What is money? What is it used for? What is its value? So forth and so on. It doesn't have to be anything super, hard or something that's, difficult at that particular age. Of course, you can't start talking to them about budgeting and investing
right.
When they're 3, unless they're prodigies, right?
Right.
But, just introducing the general concepts is a natural progression of the learning process, introducing those concepts. So at a very early age, most people introduce those general concepts. Now, when you start moving into middle school and high school, so forth and so on, there needs to be more of a clear foundation as it pertains to the use of money, how it's accumulated, how it can be used to work for you, how to manage it, so forth and so on. What do you think?
Think so as well. I love how you entered into the middle school, high school level, because that really kind of expands on the concept, right? So I guess the thought would be, what would be a great way of introducing a tween or a teenager into the mechanics of how to use money or how to better apply it once they fully understand concept?
Yeah, sure. And you know what? I want to step back for a minute because we kind of missed the general elementary, like the first grade, the fifth grade. And I know we're not specifically focused on grades here.
Yeah.
But even during that time, you're taking your kids to the bank or you're, filling out your bills or paying your bills online and things of that nature. I speak a lot about introducing your kids or bringing your kids into the conversation around money management management in the home. That's super important. When the kids
Yes,
want something, maybe they
I
want a new
agree.
toy, or maybe they want to eat out, start having those conversations even then, early on, saying, well, this costs money. How can we incorporate this into our budget? Or how can you earn the money in order to purchase that toy or go out to that movie or whatever it is that your child wants to do?
Yeah,
Even at an early age, they can begin to see, okay, everything isn't free. Like, you can't
right.
just walk in the store and grab a toy off the shelf and, right, mommy and daddy have to pay for that. And now, I'm responsible for earning money through, doing chores, whatever the case may be.
Right.
But at an early age, introducing those concepts, just, simply through the day-to-day processes of, the things that they ask for. When they start
Yeah.
asking about things that relate to money, have those conversations in that way, instead of just saying, you know what, I don't have the money for it, not now. Because come on,
Right.
we
Right.
we don't always want to entertain every conversation
Right.
about, money in the house.
Money.
But I mean, what do you think? I think it's important, to invite them in and to be
Yes,
more intentional
I
with those
agree.
conversations. What do you
No,
think?
I agree. I agree. I love when you said that when you're talking to a child that's like 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, you are really introducing them through their world. Just tying that into a toy or tying it into something that they want to eat. Like my little one loves McDonald's French fries. And so I know that even though we haven't had this huge conversation about money, we absolutely have entered into that space where it's like, okay, well, you know what, this, we're going to get it today, and this is why. I tie it to some type of incentive of some kind. If she did well in school, then I was, you know what, we're going to go get some French fries today, and this is why. And then, and so I just feel like that's a great way to introduce the explanation of money and how we actually do that, especially if your child is ready for it. Okay, so you know what, we're going to go get that toy. This is why we're going to go get it, and this is the cost of it. I feel like I really do think that it has to do with the child itself, themselves. I feel like you kind of have to measure that out as a parent to see how in depth you can go, so that they won't get so overwhelmed by what you're saying. But I think it's a great way to really incorporate the money talk, because money is a part of everything that we do. I mean, it is like the backdrop to everything that we do, a lot of what we do, honestly. So just having them explain, or having us explain to them, how money ties into everything that we do, is great. I think that is a way of conditioning our kids to know that there is such thing as a currency, and that we don't have to consistently, you don't just ask for things and it just appears. I think it really puts a value on things, instead of it kind of just being out there. Okay, well, it's there, so I want it and I'm gonna take it, or whatever. That I think they become more sensitive to it. Of course, you don't want your kids to be overwhelmed by your money situations, obviously, but you definitely want them to be conscientious.
Yeah. I think the biggest pitfall that many parents fall into is that they don't believe that their kids are ready for those types of conversations, or that they can have any substantial input into that process of managing money for the house. And that's absolutely not the case. I mean, kids are very intuitive. Kids are very intelligent if given the opportunity to demonstrate. And when we actually sit down and have those conversations around budgeting, planning, earning early, we can begin to see how those concepts become more concrete for them, and how they can apply it themselves in their everyday. Just to give you an example, early on, my son wanted, he's a shoe lover. He's always been a shoe lover since he was very young. And of course, my husband and I have never been the parents to spoil our kids with material things. It's all about experiences for us. Like, instead of Christmas presents, we'd rather go somewhere and, do something versus buy Christmas presents. Well, anyway, early on, we said, listen, if you want to buy these shoes, then, why don't you he learned piano. You can teach other kids piano, you can get paid, and then you can purchase your shoes, so let me give you an example. Like my son, who is 8 right now, he loves to play video games, of course. Inside of those video games, there are all the V-Bucks and all the things that you can buy. And every time I turn around, I promise you, Nikavana, he is asking, Mom, can I get $5 for V-Bucks? And, he knows how to spend money, right? Every kid, I think, on the planet knows how to spend money. They know they need money to purchase it, and they know who to go ask.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I said, listen, you can definitely have that, but you're going to have to earn it. And you're thinking, okay, well, what can an 8-year-old do? Trust me, they can do a lot. They can create YouTube videos. There's a following on YouTube that they can do. They can do chores. They can do they can serve someone, right, and be awarded for serving. So there's, even at a young age of 8, my child has learned that, no, I'm not just going to hand you $5 so you can go spend it on some video game. You will have to earn it. And then when you do earn it, peep this, Nikavana, because this is important. Okay. There's a portion of it. I'm going to pay you to do the chores that you do, but then there's a portion of it that you have to set aside and save.
Oh, that's good. No,
so
that's
even
good.
At that young age, we're teaching them, yes, you can earn the money, you can purchase the things that you like, but then the money that you earn, you can't keep all of it. We're going to separate it, and we're going to put some in savings, some that you can spend, and then some that you're going to give to church or a charity. Even that young, and they understand. They understand. And when we get to church, it's like, okay, I have my money to put in church,
right?
Whatever the case may be. So I think a lot of times parents limit the conversation because they don't think the kids can grasp it so young. But trust me, they absolutely can, and we want to teach them that. Yes. We want to teach them early on to understand the value of $1. Otherwise, they won't respect it even when they become adults, and they'll end up in circumstances and situations that will, put them in debt and put them behind the 8 ball when it comes to building that generational wealth that we so often talk about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you on that. When I think about an example, right? I think about even in my own personal life, I can remember when I was in junior high school, when my mom began to give me the assignment of balancing her bank register. And so that's where she started with me, was reconciliation. She wanted me to understand, aside from just regular conversations, because money was always an open topic in our home. So it wasn't anything that was, forbidden or just taboo. It was really an open conversation. But that is probably where I remember she really started challenging me to balance her register, and if there was any discrepancies, we would talk about it. We would talk about, okay, so why didn't this balance, or why didn't that balance, or or whatever it might have been. And then, of course, with bank registries, you have to keep in mind bank fees, all those kind of things that you tie into that reconciliation as well. And it also, keeps track of your checks that you write, or how you spend your money, withdraw money, all of that. I mean, she was a big check writer, so she always had a pretty good record. She wasn't so much of an ATM type of person, or use the debit card type of person. She was a check person. So it was a great learning experience for me, because she graduated me from balancing her checkbook and reconciling her bank statement to actually writing her bills out as well. So it was just a gradual build up, but it really made me very comfortable with knowing that everything costs something. and this, it gave me a really realistic view of how to run a house, basically.
Yeah.
It
That's an
did.
excellent point, because a lot of parents do have teenagers, right? Or, responsible, or, preteens, even preteens
Yes.
that exhibit, accountability, responsibility, and handing off that assignment. I know, again, it's kind of scary, parents thinking, oh, I'm not ready to do that with my teen or whatever. But if you have a teen that's exhibiting, skills or, talents, and
Hmm.
that are shown to be responsible, yes, I would agree. That's a great opportunity for them to learn how to manage their house, because when they leave,
Hmm.
have already experienced what it's like to pay a bill, what it's like
Exactly.
to balance a checkbook, because people still write checks, right? We think
Right.
everything's online, people are still swiping. No, there's a lot of people that still feel comfortable writing checks.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so understanding how to do that, I think that's absolutely awesome that she did that for you, and parents should consider doing that with their teens so that they can have a preview of what's to come. Listen, they're going to go out and they're going to live by themselves, right?
Yes.
And the last thing we want to
Yes.
worry about is, did they pay their water bill?
I
Did they
know.
like? And then you got to come to the house and the lights are off, and they're like, "Well, I didn't want to."
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah, we don't want that.
right. And I've heard some horror stories. Tell me.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've had a couple of them myself, so I know.
But that's the whole point of education. I truly believe education starts at home, and we as parents have to be mindful of that. It's not just about those core subjects, science, math, English, so forth and so on. It's life
Yes.
skills that we really need to um, make sure our children have a strong foundation in, because without those life skills, they can be as book smart as they want to
I
be. Without those life
know.
skills, they won't be able to function in society well.
Absolutely. And that's a great place to pause. So we're going to come right back and we're going to tell you more about how you can prepare your kid to be more money conscious. We'll be right back. All right. You know what? We're going to continue the conversation about how to prepare your child to be more money conscious. One of the things that we were ending with was really just getting your child familiar with running a home when it comes to money, because everything costs, right? And you definitely want your child or your adult child, a young adult child, to be able to leave the home with a clear understanding of how money works. I just think that is a great way and an amazing start for your child, is to really know how to maneuver this world with their money. I
Yeah.
think it's so important. I can't stress it enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think having the conversation at home, having it from your mom, having the conversation with your dad, because each parent has different concepts. They look at money differently. I
Yeah.
think it's just important to be intentional
Yeah.
about the conversation, right? We need to be intentional about it. I know in my own household, it was intentional. It was very intentional. And I absolutely benefited because I knew terminology. I had a pretty good financial language when I left the house to go to college. So a lot of things I understood, when I did leave on my own and live on my own. There was a lot that I already understood because the conversation was so fluid
Yeah.
in my home.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that, Anissa, in regards
Absolutely.
to, you and your husband's dynamic and just talking? I know his way of thinking about money is, would be a little different from how you think about it. So what are your thoughts on that?
And I think you can find that in most marriages, right? It's usually
Yeah,
one that's like
absolutely.
super money conscious, and one's like, whatever.
Right.
We'll pay the bill when we get.
Right.
Um, but we do have differences there. But I want to make mention of play. Listen, incorporating play into teaching our kids about money.
Oh, that's good.
We play store. I think every kid
Yeah.
has probably played store at
Yeah.
some point in their time, right?
Right.
got your fake cart and you driving around
Absolutely.
the house and purchasing things. And I think that's an awesome way to, even at the younger ages, to introduce the concept of money and the concept of having to pay for items, so forth and so on. One of the things that I do with my kids, in addition to teaching financial literacy, is play escape room games, right? I mean, it's COVID, so we're kind of stuck in the house.
Yeah.
And, we got to get
You got to be creative. You do.
So,
absolutely.
Playing escape room games where they have to figure out the answer to certain financial questions or situations, and they can't.
That's good.
They, answer that particular question. So just finding creative ways. It's not always about a lesson, right? Because sometimes, their eyes begin to glaze over, and they're like, "We talked about this 100 times. Really? Are we having this conversation again?" But just, playing Monopoly, or, there's now different variations of Monopoly. I don't know if you played Monopoly when you were growing up, but
I did.
Monopoly was like a 3-hour game, right?
Yes, it was.
When we were sitting down to play Monopoly, we're going to play Monopoly. Now, you can't leave in the middle of the game.
That is the truth. That was a very long game. You're so right.
But the concepts were, when you take it and you apply it to real life, it's so translatable, right? And so there's different variations of Monopoly that you can play, but just finding creative ways to integrate the financial literacy training for our kids. Being intentional about it. We have to understand the importance of it. For me, teaching about God and teaching about, family dynamics, being a good citizen, the core subjects, financial literacy is super important. We have to make that a part of that core teaching.
Absolutely.
So just, be creative with the learning, have the lesson plan, but then think about creative ways to integrate it. Like I said, and there's so many resources online, Nicovana, right? I mean,
absolutely. Absolutely.
We're going to share some ideas with you, but there are so many ways to incorporate financial literacy creatively that it won't always have to be you sitting down going over a bill with your child and saying, okay, now I'm talking about money, let's go.
Right. I know. No, you are so right. You do have to be creative, and you absolutely have to make it fun. And when you associate it with play, of course, your kid is going to receive that over just sitting down and being, put a book or a piece of paper in front of them. If you can incorporate it in play, that is a great way for it to just be able to be absorbed by the child or the children that are playing, because they're going to get it. They're going to tie it into something fun, but yet they're going to be challenged at the same time. So I think that's great. I love that. Those are great ideas for any parent that's really wanting to introduce financial literacy, for sure. Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. So you know what? We're going to take one more break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to finish up on how do we prepare our kid to be money conscious. We'll be right back. So we are going to just finish up on our topic on how do we prepare our kids to be money conscious. And one of the biggest takeaways that I love, and Anissa was really expounding on that, was play. Really tying it into something that's fun, something that could be a game like Monopoly, or just online type of games that they have online. Those will be great ways, great avenues to introduce your children to financial literacy. And, counting, all of those things are necessary in school, right? Knowing how to subtract, add, multiply, all those things are important. But tying all of that into financial literacy or money management, it just kind of adds more to the table, and it just really puts your child in a good place. Yeah. Because like you said, you could be book smart all day, but how to function in this world how to be conscientious about your money goes beyond education in the traditional sense of how we look at it. It really just equips you with for every age, every season of your life. You will always have money.
Right.
Every season.
Right. And know how to earn it and know how to make it work for you. Another thing too, Nick, if you don't mind me sharing, is
sure.
Taking inspiration from other kids that are doing it, right?
Yes.
I think kids really, it's one thing for the parents to say something.
Yes.
Again, we can talk to her blue in the face and the kid's eyes glazed over.
Right.
But when they see other kids doing it, when they see, like, there's this news article about a young boy who started investing at an early age because he liked tennis shoes. He loved tennis shoes. And so instead of just buying the Nike shoes that he liked or whatever shoe it was, he invested money in that company and he learned how to do that. And now he retired his mother from doing that.
Wow, that's amazing.
When other kids hear stories like that, or when other kids hear stories about young entrepreneurs starting businesses and earning money that way, that excites them, right? That puts a fire under them and says, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it. And so, when you feel like, you've done the financial literacy thing at home, you've taught them about bills, you've played the games, what's the next step?
Yes.
You get to think about or take a look around at what some other kids are doing to embrace the concept of money management or financial literacy, because there's so many news articles out there, and just introduce that to your child and allow them to explore and find where their interests might lie when it comes to starting a business or investing, things of that nature, because they are not too young. There are so many resources that are age appropriate that can allow them to do that. But definitely taking inspiration from other kids that are doing it is a great way.
No, I think it's great. And really, like you said, not putting a cap on your child, don't assume that they can't get it. Don't assume that it's too early. I mean, that's a huge takeaway from our conversation tonight, and just really being able to make it fun and incorporate that into their everyday life, I think is a great place to start for any parent that may be struggling with it. Or not knowing exactly what to do. I think those are great takeaways, and it does make it easier for you to have that conversation. And the more they hear about it, the more they're conditioned, the more you'll be able to tell them, the more you'll be able to talk about different things, and the more they will be engaging, because they will definitely understand that, hey, you know what, money is a part of my life and I got to be able to do this. For sure. I got to be able to manage it and do it well. And we want our kids to be savvy money managers.
That's right.
We absolutely do.
We want them to have a step up, an advantage that we didn't have. Where, Nick Ivana, you were blessed to have a mother that was engaging, but not all people had that in their history. So we definitely want to give our kids that opportunity to have that advantage when it comes to learning about money early.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know what? This has been an amazing topic this morning. I absolutely have been inspired myself, being that I got a 5-year-old. I know that we are on our journey in regards to what money management is going to be for her. So definitely incorporating play, just being creative in how you teach financial literacy to your kids. Incorporate games that deal with money, and listening and being inspired by other children or other young adults that are doing it and winning is a great way to just get your kids excited about talking about money and the whole financial literacy concept. So I thank you for joining us this morning, and I absolutely want you to send in your comments. Please email us. Please let us know what your comments are, what your feedback is. Please let us know. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you would like for us to talk about on future shows. And I definitely appreciate all the ones who have absolutely been a part of our GZ tribe, which is our personal Facebook group, a private Facebook group. I'm going to get it right. And so we do want you to be a part of that as well. So please just drop us your name and how we can connect with you on Facebook, and we definitely will put you in that private group. So with all that being said, I'm gonna hand it off to my co-host Anissa, and we will see you next week.
Again, it was such a pleasure to have you here with us this morning. Definitely look out for the Facebook group, GG Tribe. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to know, and we'll answer the questions as much as we can. We'll see you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.